video, I want to talk to you about whether college is a scam, right? And I've worked in the finance industry for over 10 years at some of the companies you can see on your screen right now, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, and so on. And in this video, and based on some of the comments I received, I'm going to explain to you why I think college could be considered a scam. And I'm trying to provide you with some honest career advice. And what I'll do in this video is I'll be reviewing this, giving you my input, but also reviewing and reacting to this debate that was had between people who'd gone to college, people who dropped out, and their different experiences. So let's listen to this for a moment.
I feared how I would be judged if I didn't go to college.
Just me then.
It was the fear of me caring about what people thought as far as like my peers, but then when you start bringing your parents into it, and it's like, that's a greater fear. It's like you live for your parents, you know, you want to make them proud. So I just fear this closure between me and my parents, you know.
Yeah.
So what we had in this short brief clip here is someone who is considering whether they should go to college, and rather than making the decision to go to college on the basis of what their interest was, what their future career prospects were, they were worried about public perception. They were worried about how their parents would perceive them, how their friends would perceive them. Now, social status is really a curse in this current society we have, and I covered this in a few of my videos. You shouldn't be too concerned with social status. You shouldn't be too concerned how other people perceive you, how your parents who operated and succeeded under quite a predictable system that made it quite easy for them to be part of the middle class perceive you, or even friends, because you should be concerned with one thing when it comes to the realm of careers and finance, is finding a career that you actually enjoy and find fulfilling, but also provides you with financial freedom. Now, if that means avoiding college, then avoid college. Even if you take the social status hit and people are like, oh, you're a college dropout, whatever they want to call you. If you're building a skill set outside of college for much cheaper, that will give you higher income and the lifestyle you want and the flexibility you want, you should do that. You don't need to go to college to learn how to edit videos. You don't need to know how to You don't need to pay thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to go to college to learn basic finance. You could technically not do that. What you could do if you wanted to learn accounting and become a self-employed accountant, you could take the professional qualifications for accounting and complete college if you need to do that prior to that. But you should just focus on what's going to make you get whatever's going to give you the quickest path to self-employment in the type of profession you want. Now, I understand when you're at college age, you might not know all of those things, so that's fine. You can consider going to a community college in America, or free college in the UK and so on, or a low-cost university. I would recommend you do that, because that will give you time to think through what you want to do and not blow your money in terms of tens of thousands of money in debt in terms of student loans. So that's something you should definitely think of, right? Don't worry about social status, because a lot of these people are going to make bad decisions, get very expensive college courses, very expensive university degrees, and not have much jobs to show for it, much money to show for it in terms of their career. So let's move on to the next little clip here.
Like people that just do manual labor. You don't need a degree to do some manual labor work. Right. So if you have everyone sticking their heads in a book, we won't have stuff being built. Your house won't be built. Your cars won't be fixed. Your oil change. You know what I'm saying? You have to realize that in life, especially in the world, it's a balance of people.
I come from a minority, underrepresented, disenfranchised. And in my college experience, the higher I got, the less people that look like me that I saw. So the more people that look like me in college would make me so happy. That's what I'm saying. So it's tremendous to see more people going to college.
But you have to realize that this is if. You have to realize a lot of people don't want to.
Oh, no.
So this is another point. Again, people are extremely concerned, particularly at the younger age, of their public perception. Oh, how will my friends perceive me? Things like that. How will I be pushing the culture forward or pushing your race forward in a positive way by going to college versus dropping out? I think you need to think about your life in terms of individual circumstances. I won't get into politics too much now, but you see a lot of people, they're looking for group solutions, countrywide solutions to the inflation, to the social dysfunction. And I understand, some people want to protest about one thing or the other. But what I'm trying to explain to you here throughout my videos is you need an individual solution, right? You can't just pick going to college because maybe you're the first person in your family to graduate from college, or you're getting a good education because you come from a different racial background or different disadvantaged background. That's not really the thought process you should follow. You should pick a career that makes sense for you and study things that are relevant to that. And there's many other skills that you can actually develop, as people are pointing out, outside of college. You can learn a trade, become involved in manual labor. You can become a skilled electrician or a plumber, make money as a self-employed person there, determine your own work hours and make as much money as you can there. And there's also a lot of elements there that you could develop outside of college, that you don't have to go to college. If you just want to be social, you could perhaps, learn your own skills. As I say, there are many online courses to learn things like video editing, other interests you might have, and do that on a freelance basis. And then you can socialize with people at other social events. If you're treating college like a social place, or university like a social place, and that's a large driver of why you're going there, you should think carefully if you want to spend, like I say, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever your currency is, on going somewhere just because it's a social place rather than actually learning anything useful. So that's something you should be very careful about thinking. And another point here is around social mobility. Again, you shouldn't worry about social status, because there's many people who are working trades, who didn't go to college, who were plumbers, who were electricians, and they're making more money than people who did got a PhD in economics, and now they work a very basic office job at a major investment bank, maybe earning less money than the plumber or electrician, who might be making six figures, self-employed, live their life how they want and on their own timescale. So don't worry too much about social status or social mobility or climbing the social classes. I hope you can see how much of a farce things are when you see how ridiculous some of the people in positions of power across corporations and governments are. A lot of them are a joke, right? You can look at some of the politicians, regardless of what you believe or who you support, and be like, okay, a lot of people who are complete idiots are getting to positions of power. Don't be worried about climbing the social mobility ladder by going to university or college and getting some complex degree to try and fit in with some supposedly people in positions of power. That's not really the thought process to follow. So you should focus on skill development, learning skills that are marketable, skills that you can quickly use to not only work for other companies, but also become self-employed. Because over time, as you develop your skills, you don't want to be in a position where the skill set you have to offer can only work when you are sitting in an office. You can't do it remotely. You can't do it working from home. You can't do it and sell it on the weekend to other clients. Like I say, if you have a finance qualification or accountancy qualification, then you can do accounting for the company you work for. Maybe it's one of the big four accounting firms like KPMG or Deloitte, but then on the weekend you can have your own accounting clients. So you want to think about it carefully when you're picking what you're studying, because I know some of the comments I received in my videos were people thinking, oh wait, is college just is a scam? Can I do a bit of analysis on that? Now there is a two-sided way of looking at this, right? Because I don't come from a network of people who were already in some of these top companies, and I studied at LSE, which is London School of Economics, this top university in the UK. There's my university certificate. Now, if I didn't get that and I didn't go to that place, I didn't really network so much there. I did a bit of networking, but what I could leverage that to is to getting a job at HSBC and working at Goldman and Morgan Stanley later, because I didn't have that connection. If I already had that network, then maybe it wouldn't be as important. So there is like two ways of looking at this. Sometimes it can help social mobility, but sometimes it's not really necessary. It depends what your end goal is. And I have some career coaching sessions that I do offer to my clients to talk them through this process, which there's a link in the description if you're interested. The point I'm trying to make is you need to think very carefully before you do get into massive amounts of debt like many other people, just because you want to fit in, just because you want to follow the traditional path. And I hope you can see at this point, with the inflation rate, with the lack of job security, all the layoffs you're seeing, the social instability, that following the traditional path doesn't work, and you need to think carefully about what decision you're making when it comes to your planning out your life in a strategic way. Let's look at this next clip.
Want to do, I'm just not sure which one is the, like, you guys is like, this is it. But for me, I was like, I'm dibbling dabbling in so many different things. I'm just like, anything could be the final goal. I just don't know which one it is. I want to perfect every craft.
So I was going to school for architecture, and I was 3 years in, and then I got into acting, and I booked a job. And then I realized, I was like, whoa, I really like doing this. So I dropped out of school, and I decided that I'd pursue acting instead. But that came later on, after I did 3 years of college.
And I did 4. I have 3 classes before I graduated.
Really?
And I just like...
I decided to leave because I felt the time for me to pursue the things I wanted to do in my life was now, and college was holding me back from that.
So this is good examples of people who really figured themselves out early. So that's what you should do if you are at the more junior level or you're thinking about going back to education, is really figure out what you want out of life. Not only out of your career, but what you want out of life. Because when you pick a career, you pick a lifestyle. Some careers, they might pay well, but they need you to be in the office a lot. Some jobs, they pay well, but they have long work hours, right? So you got to think what you want, right? Is the skill you're learning going to allow you to be eventually self-employed, or you're going to have to work for someone else, for major firms, for the rest of your life? So you need to have a dynamic career path and change the path and adapt accordingly, right? This person you were listening to there, someone mentioned working in acting after trying to do some college studies. They dropped out of college and they were doing well as a successful actor. Now you need to be able to change depending on your life experience quite quickly and quite seamlessly, right? Because there's no such thing as being stuck in one career or one company or one type of skill level for the rest of your life. I think that only works for a handful of people who are maybe at more senior levels, typically a bit older now, or people who are kind of on one track path, right? They might work in, for example, financial risk management for the rest of their life, and they kind of got a good network there, they fit in socially there, and they can push forward there. For most of us, it will involve changing. You might be doing financial risk management for a couple years and learn a bit more about the tech side of a finance company, for example, and then go work in that finance and the tech department of a major investment bank. So you've got to be able to move through seamlessly and adapt to change. If you get too stuck in one area, too pigeonholed in one area, it really will impact your ability to earn money over the long term. You might get pigeonholed or trapped, as I say, without many career options, or very narrow career options as you grow up and go through the years of your working career. So I guess to conclude there, college is good if you're going to learn a skill that is going to allow you, that you need to have a college qualification for or a university degree for, which does apply for many jobs now. Now, if you're not going to be applying for maybe those top jobs, consider going to a more cost-effective, a cheaper, more affordable college or university and try and complete your qualifications there. Because if your end goal is not working for one of the top companies that are super fussy about, say, as I mentioned here, going to LSE or a top university, things like that, then you can just go to a more affordable one, save your money, invest your money, focus on building your self-employment skills, marketing yourself, and things like that for your self-employment business that you have on the side, which is your ultimate end goal. So have a clear idea of your end goal. As I say, I know it's hard to figure out in the early years, but really try to think it through, right? The earlier you learn yourself and what you want and not just fitting in the society's model, and society's traditional model is failing, let's be honest here, it's not working out well for most people, the quicker you can make good decisions and not the standard mistakes people make just following the traditional path. And in this video has a good example of people who've done both. Now, I have a career advice service. There's a link in the description if you want to speak with me directly. I hope you found that video helpful. There are 2 recommended videos on your screen right now, and I'll see you next time.